We're gonna automate the pool equipment to work on Alexa, all for about 200 bucks. High voltage electricity and water are not a good mix. Improper wiring can result in serious injury or death. Always hire a certified electrician. This is a serious warning. A quick rundown of what I have out here. I have Wi-Fi that is nearby, which is important, and I have a Pentair and Teleconnect, which will not hook up to a Alexa, as far as I can tell. And this I use to run the heater and the variable speeds on my pump. So this I'm not really going to be messing with. This is my Wi-Fi box here, which just houses a Eero mesh router that is connected throughout the property. We have 3 pumps, a blower, and a heater. That is the main pump that does the filtration on the pool and operates the heater. This pump handles spa jets and a whirlpool lazy river. And this pump handles the waterfall. The blower is connected to the water jets, and the heater, of course, heats the water. This valve right here, I'm going to automate with Alexa, and this decides whether or not it's going to be spa jets or the lazy river. I used a soldering iron to mark whirl on this side for the whirlpool or lazy river, and then on this side, I melted in jets for the spa jets. I also have 3 pool lights. And light number 3. Now, how we're going to do all this automation is with these little guys here. They are called Shellys. And right now I'm going to show you a demonstration of how I'm going to make this work. This is the basic Shelly setup. We've got electricity coming in through here. The white goes here and bridges off to feed what will be our light over here. The other end of the white moves over to here and goes into the Shelly. Then we have the black coming in here. It breaks off and goes into the switch. The other side of the switch comes into here, which jumps over to this side, which can then operate the Shelly. The black coming in, also as it goes over to the switch, it jumps over to this side and comes in to power up the Shelly. These two are the power for the Shelly. This jumper jumps over to here and then comes across to this side, which comes into the Shelly, which is then going to be what's switched. So this switch operates by turning it on. It makes the connection from here through to here and tells this to go ahead and make this connection here, which turns on the light. We turn it off, same thing. So here is the Shelly control. I can turn the light on, turn the light off. When the light is on, if someone comes over and operates the switch will take over control of the Shelly. Light on, switch, switch. If we have the switch turn on, the app knows that the Shelly is on, we can turn it off. Here's a slightly more complex version of it. Everything is still wired the same, except instead of the Shelly turning on a light, the Shelly is operating a contactor, which is a relay for high-powered devices. I can put one leg of 110 and another leg of 110 there, and then it will switch them over to this side, so I can effectively use the Shelly to operate 220 volts. Same thing, press here, you see the little light went on. You can turn it on, turn it off. So we're using 110 volts to operate this relay, which in this case I'm using a 9-volt battery to demonstrate it. But 220 volts will go into this side, and then 220 volts will turn on the pump on that side. This is a slightly more complex system. We have a Jandy valve, which gets 24 volts from this transformer. This is always powered on coming into the transformer. The transformer then splits out into one leg that will always go to the Jandy valve. These other two, this white one and this red one, determine whether the Jandy valve is going to turn
clockwise or counterclockwise. When you power the red one, it will turn clockwise. When you power the white one, it will turn counterclockwise. So by using two different Shellys, one that will be in this setup here to always be able to turn on the red, and then one that will be in another setup exactly like this except to the white, then depending on which one of these gets turned on will depend on which way the valve is turned. So if I turn it on now, you can see the valve has started turning. Power is, as before, going through to the switch that can then power the Jandy. Power is not coming from here, not 110 volts, out to here, but this is just switching these two on. If I were to turn it on and turn it off, it will stop it. Turn it back on, it continues. Turn it off, stops it. It continues. So once it gets to the end, it is still on. Power is still making this connection here. So if we were to then on the other Shelly turn power on to here, we'd be supplying power to both sides. To prevent that, what I'm going to do, inside settings here in the Shelly, let's see, under input output settings, we want to choose configure Shelly to turn off when it has power. If there's ever a power failure and power is restored, the Shelly will be in default off position. So we want to save that. Then under timing here, we want to make sure auto off is set. It takes about 35 seconds for this to happen. So we're going to make sure that it is off after 1 minute. So whenever the Shelly is turned on, it will then turn back off a minute later. So the only danger at that point is if we had turned this Shelly on and then turned the other Shelly on to the white one within 1 minute, then this would be getting power from both at the same time. But we're going to operate this from the Alexa, and we're going to set up a routine in the Alexa that will further prevent that from happening. In addition, we have named these Shellys Jandy 1 jets and the other one is Jandy 2 jets. And the reason for this is I'm never going to say turn on Jandy 1 jets to the Alexa. We're going to say something different to the Alexa. So this will probably never be triggered. This is just a fail-safe, this auto off, in case it gets turned on from inside the app here. So as you see here, I'm still using the Jandy 1 Shelly. I haven't swapped it out, but I swapped the red and the white wires over. So now if I hit turn on, it's going to start moving the opposite direction. Now I can take the time right now to make sure auto power off is set, and input output setting, making sure the Shelly is always powered off. And same thing, we can stop it, start it. To deal with the Jandy valve, we are going to set up a new routine. When anyone says switch to lazy river, it will make sure that the Jandy 2 side is off. Then it will power up the Jandy 1 side. It will wait 1 minute, which is the same minute that we put in the Shelly app. And then after that minute, it will power it off. We click save, and that's how we set this up so only one side of the Jandy valve is running at a time. Let's examine a cost breakdown. A Shelly, an actuator, 24-volt transformer, ABS electrical box, an ABS mounting plate, and a contractor come to $212.28. However, I bought 6 Shellys and 3 contractors for a total of $357.61. In addition, I swapped out my breakers for GFCI ones at another $405. Most of the automation bits are going to be housed in this box, so I need to make a little more room in here for it. This is the new configuration. All of the Shelly stuff will go inside of here. Here's the original electrical panel. We need to cut it off at the breaker now. This is the main breaker panel. This is for the pool. Cut that off. By the way, extra tip. You should install a ring contact sensor in your electric panel, so if anybody opens this in the middle of the night, your alarm goes off. Let's confirm power is actually off with a multimeter. I got set to AC. We put it on the two legs up here, and we're not getting 120. So power's off. I installed the 3 contractors on top of the breakers, and what each one of them is doing is the same as this one right here. I've got a 220 breaker supplying 2 lines up to the top of the contractor right here. Then on the other side of the contractor down here, these lines run out to the actual pump. I have a neutral wire powering this side coming off of the bank. Then on this side, I will switch. When the switch gets activated here, it applies the power between here and here, activating the contractor and turning on the pool pump. And I did the same thing for the other 2, the blower and the waterfall. Now over here, this is probably looking crazy, but I've got a bank for ground, a bank for hot, and a bank for neutral. I've got my electricity coming in and going to all 3 of these. The transformer is hooked up to hot and neutral, and its lines are currently sitting here and need to be installed to switches. I've got hot lines running up into each one of these switches. One goes to the line to power the switch. The other one goes to the switch side. And this end is what will make its way back over to here to actually switch on the pool pump. But on this side, this red wire right here is the actual switch that is on the wall. So that activates whether this can turn on and off locally versus through the app. And then this white line right here is just the line. Same thing is happening over here for the waterfall one. I've got line, power coming in to activate the switch coming in, the actual local manual switch to activate this switch, then the power coming in that will be switched to go back over to here and switch on one of these contractors to actually power the pump. So that's what it looks like right now, and I'm going to continue wiring up this rat's nest of stuff. All right, it didn't pop. That's a good sign. Test with the multimeter to make sure that power is back on. 120. 120. Power is back on. 242. So far, so good. Nothing popped. This one I don't have anything hooked up to. And I currently have these 2 off. So there you go. All seems to be working.
Alexa, turn on the waterfall. Okay. Alexa, turn on the jets. Alexa, switch to lazy river.